What is up, Season's Biochemistry class? This presentation is brought to you by Claudia, Caroline, Nicole, and myself. I am Byron Aquino, and I will be providing you with a brief overview of different biomolecules in the form of emojis. Because why not? So let's get started.
We just had Thanksgiving and Christmas season is upon us, so it might be a good idea to start worrying about the things you should eat or shouldn't eat. I know some of you guys are conscious about your dietary routines. You may be a vegan on a special diet where you can't eat certain types of food, or you might be just like me that doesn't care about what's on the dinner plate as long as it's edible. Whatever the case is, you must first get certain molecules from our foods, because, well, our bodies can make all of them. Food are a great source of biomolecules that our body needs to grow and metabolize. In this video, we'll be talking about carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. So let's get to it.
First up is carbohydrates, commonly known as carbs. They are made up of monosaccharides such as glucose and lactose and serve as fuel storage. Plants use starch and animals use glycogen. In animals, glycogen may bond with lipids and proteins and other molecules to increase or change the function of these molecules. People sometimes go on low-carb diet because they think that they'll gain extra weight, and others think that they need to load up on carbs because they'll need the extra fuel. But in reality, the energy that we take in should be the energy that we put out.
Next up is lipids, commonly known as fats. Lipids are made up of long chains of fatty acids linked together by a glycerol.
Some of the most common sources of fat are the following: butter, oil, and cholesterol. I really just read it off this slide now, didn't I? So anyway,
Lipids have a lot of different functions. You might think, well, that's fat. How can there be a good fat? Turns out lipids play an important role in keeping us alive. Now let's talk about that for a second. There's a good reason why people despise oils and fat. We now know that there are two types of fatty acids: saturated and unsaturated fatty acids. Saturated fatty acids are just the lame fats. Well, not really. They just have a long fatty acid chain that contains no double bonds. Unsaturated fatty acids have double bonds in their fatty acid chain, which can be in the cis or trans configuration. Unsaturated fatty acids with the trans fatty acid chains are known to cause corollary problems or heart diseases. They are commonly known as trans fats.
I'm sure after that slide you're probably thinking, alright, so I'm done with anything oily. Well, lipids happen to make up our own cell membrane. And you're probably like, yeah, so? Well, all living things are made up of cells, so yeah, important stuff. Next up is protein, or as the gym people would call it, the gains. Proteins can be obtained from various different sources such as animal meat, poultry products, and beans. Proteins are made up of linked up amino acids. It's monomers. You can get proteins from basically consuming that tasty meat and steak. This is why extreme vegans are often required to take iron supplements and protein supplements. Protein make up a common man's body composition and a gym rat's diet. Protein powder contains different sorts of protein that aids in muscle growth and development. This helps them get that nice toned body that we keep promising ourselves during the New Year's Eve. Yeah. Aside from muscle development, proteins serve various different functions in our body to keep us alive. They are a huge part of our immune system and in various signaling pathways. They also serve as major components in enzymatic reactions, which in turn play an invaluable role in maintaining and regulating bodily functions. And finally, we have the nucleic acids, which make up our also important genetic material, our DNA. DNA are stored inside the nucleus of cells. So you're probably wondering, wait, how do I get DNA in my diet? Well, chances are, if you eat something that was once living, for example, meat or whole grain bread, the food still contains bits of that nucleic acid. So there you have it, your 4 biomolecules. I hope you learned something today. P.S. This video should not be used as an excuse to binge on cakes this coming holidays. Remember, everything needs to be modulated. Thank you for listening.